Hi, I'm Donna. This class is for motivation. Veggie garden's done. Now what? We're going to start lying down. You might need a chair and a couple of blocks. We're going to be doing some standing poses and testing balance, and they could be useful props for you. So lay down onto your back. Have your legs bent and your feet hip width. Legs are parallel. Bring your focus to your breathing, to where the breath moves in and out of your body through your nostrils. And notice where you might feel a little tense or tight. Let go of what you don't need right now. Just noticing how you feel. And you're going to be aware of the lower back arch, and you want to have a sense that it's not quite touching the floor. Some people's will naturally be that shape, but for most people there's a little arch away from the floor. And then feel where the belly rises and falls. So we've got the belly, the front core, the lower back, the back core. See if you can feel the breath right down into the abdomen. Good. And squeeze in your right leg. Give it the thigh a nice squeeze in against the ribs, and we're going to try and keep the leg, the ankle, knee and hip in one line with the right ribs. Good. And then take that leg to straight, just as straight as you can. It might be out here, in here. And you're going to keep that back core lifting away from the floor, but really press the front core as you lower that leg down. Good. And then squeeze in again and straighten. Just take a couple of breaths there. Feeling the back of the leg lengthening wherever you're holding. Good. Keep the lower back lifting just away from the floor. Belly presses. I'm going to lower down again. Good. You can make this a little bit stronger. We're going to do a couple more by taking the left leg out to straight. Only do it if you can keep that feeling of ease in your core. Good. So pressing the belly, exhaling down. Good. Inhale. And as you exhale, squeeze the knee. Couple of breaths. Good. Straighten your leg. Good. Aware of the lower back arch, the belly, really both parts of the core pressing towards center to take the leg down. Good. And then we'll come back. Okay, so if that felt a little too strong on your left side, you probably want to keep doing the posture just with your legs bent. Don't worry about taking the leg on the floor out to straight. Good. So lower back, just away from the floor, belly presses. Exhale, we're going to squeeze. Straight leg. Good. Feel the back of the leg start to warm up, lengthen. Might be a strong stretch for you. You might be holding out here. But really straight as you can. Good. And then we're going to exhale. Press the belly to the back. Good. And again, as you exhale, let all the breath out. We're squeezing the breath out of the belly. Couple of breaths. Nice alignment on this side, ankle, knee, shoulder and hip all in one plane. Good. Stretch your toes out. Good. Stretch your leg. Okay. Lower back's lifting a little, belly's pressing. So front core and back core working evenly. Take that leg down. Good. We're going to do a couple more. And if you can, take that leg out to straight. If it hurts your back, keep it bent. Good. Exhale. Squeezing the breath out. Good. And then straight as you can. So your feet are dorsiflex. Stretch out through your toes. Good. If you point your toes up to the ceiling, it doesn't give you the stretch you need for the back of the legs. So point them down. Good. And as we exhale, Back core, front core working together. Nice work. One more. Exhale, squeezing the belly. Straighten your leg. Relax in your face, relax in your throat. Good. And then we're going to let that leg down. Strong core. Good work. And then you're going to do both legs. And if it feels a little too strong, then you can go back to doing one side at a time. All right, we're going to drop the legs away to where you feel your front core really engage, but keep your neck and your throat really relaxed. Your space around your heart, shoulders relaxed. You just lay your hands down on the floor. All right, we want to still feel though that the lower back is lifting away from the floor, and you're really going to press the front core, squeeze the pelvic floor, and then lower the legs just a little more and hold. Good. Notice though if the tension starts to lift up in your body, around your face, around your throat, see if you can stay really relaxed there. Maybe you can go down a little bit further, or maybe you need to bend your legs and put your feet down on the floor. See how you go. Lower back is lifting, belly is pressing strongly, pelvic floor is squeezing strongly. Maybe you've got one more. Good. And then laying all the way down. That should feel nice and warm, front core, back core. So let your legs roll out, let your arms roll out. Take a moment. If it's too strong in your back to lay with your legs straight, just put them back to bend. Good, then you're going to bend your legs in, roll over to your right side and come into forward virasana. So kneeling towards the back of your mat. Take your knees out wide, so you've got plenty of space for the belly, for the chest. Bring your pelvis down onto your heels. And if that's too strong for your knees, then you'll put your hips where that feels comfortable, doable. Good. Otherwise, we're going to anchor the tailbone down. Lengthen torso. So the front core lengthens here. Reach the arms. Just take notice as your back core, your lower back, broadens and lengthens. And let that part of your body feel nice and heavy, spacious. Good. We're going to walk the hands all the way to the right. So what we're trying to do is get a stretch for the left ribs. So the more you stretch through your left hand and reach your left ribs, and the more you're going to feel that stretch. If you lift your hips up, then you won't feel it. So you're trying to keep your left side of the pelvis down onto the left heel or in that direction. Make sure you don't put your neck in an uncomfortable position. So keep the back of the neck nice and long, the sides of the neck nice and even. You might just rest your head against your arm, but really stretch the left hand here. Aware of the left lower back, the feeling of the breath in that side of the body. Good, and then coming back to center. Follow each breath in and out. Good, and then hands reach all the way to the left. So here we're trying to reach the right arm a little further so we can lengthen through the right ribs, right waist. Neck is comfortable, even in length. Breathing deeply into the right side of your torso. Good, and then hands back to the front. Good. Come up into Mukha Svanasana. So your hands are about shoulder width, your feet are hip width. You're going to put your feet far enough forward so you can get your heels right down onto the floor. And maybe you can't quite do that, so you can just instead bend your knees. Otherwise, try and get your heels down. Good. We're going to lift and lengthen the belly. Feel where the weight has landed in your hands. Press it into the fingerprints, the base of the index fingers. Stretch out through your fingers. Press the finger pads again. Good. Nod your head. See if you can lengthen the front of the chest a little closer to the front of the legs. Good. And we're just going to let the hips fall to the right. You'll feel the left side torso stretch again. Breathe deeply. Good. And then hips fall to the left. Right side torso lengthening. Good. And back to center. Pressing your heels down. Nod your head. Good. You're going to pick up your right foot. Put it into the center of the mat. Pick up your left foot. You're going to just rest the foot gently to press that heel right down into the floor. Lift the kneecap. Lift the sit bone. Nod your head. Good. And then put your left foot back down. Just part your feet hip width again. Okay, left foot into the center of the mat. Press the heel right down to the floor. Rest your right foot on the front of the left foot. And see if you can press the heel right down into the floor. Lift the kneecap. Lift the sit bone. Lengthen the back of the leg. Nod your head. Nice work. Right foot back down, so feet are hip width again. Good. We're going to bend the knees to the floor and come down and rest into child's pose. So give yourself room. Relax the back of the neck. Good. Reach the arms all the way forward to the front of the mat. Good. We're going to come up into plank pose. Give yourself room for your wrists. So if it hurts to have your shoulders right over your wrists, take your hands further forward. So you can try it like that, or you can try keeping your knees onto the floor. Otherwise, we've got wrists under the shoulders. Nice straight line through the body. We're going to tuck the tailbone forward, so you're lengthening your lower back. Lift the front core. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Elbow creases facing each other. Press the finger pads. Press the base of the index fingers. Lengthen the back of the neck. Breathing deeply. Good. And then we're going to take the knees to the floor. Good. And we're going to take the elbows back. Bring the hips forward. Bring the breastbone forward. Just lay down onto the floor for a moment. Forehead touches down. And then lift the breastbone. Look up. And then reaching the front torso forward. Forehead touches down. Legs are parallel. Press the tops of the feet. Squeeze the kneecaps. Lift the breastbone. And reaching. Keep breathing. Good. And we're going to come back up into plank, either with your knees onto the floor or toes tucked under. Lift the knees away from the floor. Press back through the heels. Elbow creases facing. Press the finger pads. Base of the index fingers. Tailbone tucks forward so the lower back is long. Squeeze the front core. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Lift the hips nice and high. Mukha Svanasana. Put your feet where you can get your heels right down onto the floor. Nod your head, make sure your neck is relaxed. Good, and then we're going to walk forward and you're going to roll up to standing when you run out of room. Arms up. Utkatasana. Tadasana. Stand with your feet under your hips. Put one hand on your belly and one hand on your lower back. Just notice if your belly spills forward a little, you've got that deep arch in your lower back. And if that's you, see if you can lengthen your lower back a little and use your front core more to support your back. Good, and then you're trying to hold that Really focusing on the breath, moving right down into your abdomen. Good. Bring your hands in front of your heart and bend your knees. When you do that, try not to put your knees in front of your ankles, but rather sit your bottom back as though you were reaching for a stool behind you. Okay, just have a look down at your feet. You want them to be parallel. So that's the second toe, the one next to the big toe, parallel to each other. Good. And have that sense, you can use your hands again, that the lower back has its little inward arch, but not too deep. It shouldn't feel like it's digging in. You don't want the belly to feel like it's spilling forward. You want to use the front core and the back core equally to lengthen the spine. Good. I'm going to lift at the breastbone and keep lots of space around the heart. Keep the shoulder blades relaxed down towards your back waist. Great. And then we're going to take the arms up by the ears. So a nice straight line from your hips, through your shoulders, through your arms. Stretch out through your fingers. Take the thumbs back a little. Breathing deeply. Utkatasana. Really squeezing pelvic floor. Squeezing the core. Breathing deeply. Legs stay parallel. Good. And then straighten your legs. It'll feel really nice. Reach up, look up. Good. And bring your arms back down into Tadasana. Good. Awareness at your core. So that lower back, just notice how your body works. We don't want that back arch to be too deep forward, because then the belly spills forward and there's no work going on in the front core to support the back core. So we get back pain. But when you use them evenly, feel how you can lift your spine, be a little taller. Good. Bring your hands in front of your heart. You're going to step your left leg back for Uttanasana. Good. So the right heel lines up with the center of the left foot inner arch. We're going to bring the torso as much as you can to vertical and just feel what your knees, your hips want to do, but we're going to try and bring the pelvis to the long edge of the mat. Lift your kneecaps. If you have any pain in your knees, keep them a little bit off the lock. Good. Just go to where you can manage. Good. But again, don't let the belly spill forward. So lift the front core, squeeze it, and then feel the spine lengthen. Good. Reach your arms. Inhale. Exhale. Lengthen both sides of your waist. Good, and then inhale and come up. We're going to step back to the front of the mat, hands in front of your heart, and landing in Tadasana, feet hip width. Keep it light. Good, arms by your sides, just in touch with how you're working the front core, the back core. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Hands in front of the heart. You're going to step your right foot back, Uttanasana, second side. So line up your heel, the center of the foot arch. Good, just listen to your knees, listen to your hips. See if you can bring the torso to perpendicular, the front of the hips parallel to the long edge of the mat. Strong straight legs if you can. Stretch out through your toes. Good, using the awareness that you have of the front core, matching the back core, lifting the spine. Good, reaching your arms. Inhale. Exhale, stretch your left fingertips out as far as you can, your left waist as far as you can, and then take the arms to the vertical wherever you land, but keep both sides of the waist even length. Finding both sides of the neck long, letting the breath come to an easeful, deep rhythm. Well done. Inhale, come up. Good. We're going to step back to the front of the mat. Tadasana. Keep it light. Hands by your sides. Nice. Open space around your heart. Check in with the core, the front core, lifting and lengthening. The back core lengthening. Good. Bring your arms overhead, up by the ears, and come back into Utkatasana, powerful pose. So we're doing this with the feet hip width, legs are parallel. Now, if it's too strong with your arms overhead, you can have your hands in front of your heart, or if you like that helpful tactile sensation from the hands as to how you're using your core. So you want to feel the lower back arch reaching in. Good, but feel the front core supporting. Squeeze and lift the pelvic floor. And you can be as deeply into the posture as your hips, your knees allow. Hands in front of your heart, lift up. Good, we're going to reach the arms all the way up, look up. And as you exhale, Tadasana, arms by your sides. Hands in front of your heart. We're going to step the left foot back for Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Land lightly, nice big step. Good. Right heel intersects through the center of the left foot inner arch. You should feel like your left toes are turning in rather than turning out. You bend your right knee as deeply as you can, but keep the torso back to perpendicular. Reach back into your left fingertips, that will help. Lift and lengthen the sides of the waist. Lift and lengthen the front core. Lift the pelvic floor. Lengthen the spine. Relax your shoulder blades. Breathe. Good. And then we're going to step back, bring your hands in front of your heart. Keep it light. Tadasana. Hands by your sides. Good. Second side. Hands in front of your heart. Left foot steps all the way back. Oh, sorry. Right foot steps all the way back. You're going to bend your left knee. Reach your arms out from your heart. Just check, make sure your right foot turns in rather than the toes turning out. You bend your left knee as deeply as you can. Lift the sides of the waist, tuck the tailbone forward. Use the front core to support the back core. Draw the shoulder blades down. Breathe deeply. Hands in front of your heart and stepping forward. Keep it light, keep it easeful. Tadasana. Okay, let's try feet together, Utkatasana. I'm going to sweep the arms up by the sides, or you can have them in front of your heart, hands in front of the heart. Come into your squat position again. A little trickier to balance here. Remember, the bottom sits back rather than the knees sitting forward. Straight as you can from your hips, through your shoulders, through your hands. Take the thumbs back a little, lengthen the little finger edge of the hands. Draw the shoulder blades down. Feel the lower back arch reaching forward. The belly squeezes to hold the lower back arch. Lengthen the spine, squeeze the pelvic floor. Breathe. Good. And then inhale, reach all the way up, look up. Good. And Tadasana. Good. Now this is where you might need a chair. We're going to step, well, let's see. I'm going to go from the chair and then I'll show you how to do it without. If you put your hands down onto the chair, you're going to step back so that you're a nice straight line from your hands to your hips. And then you're going to take your left foot up. When you take the left foot up, you're not going to tip the pelvis. So you just take it up as high as you can. Some people are going to be able to reach all the way. Okay, so this is a modification of Virabhadrasana 3. So try that, or try coming into the posture without using the chair. Arms up. Same thing, but we're going to reach forward. The chair's there if you have one. and you can hold on to it if you need. Otherwise, we're going to try and keep the pelvis level to the floor. We're going to really squeeze the belly, squeeze the pelvic floor. Reach out through the sole of the foot, reach forward through the arms. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. Good, and then inhale. And coming up, good, and then release. Okay, so second side. If you're going from the chair, you just need enough room so that you're a nice straight line through your shoulders, through your back and your arms, and you're going to lift up your left leg. Okay, if you're going from standing, I'm going to take the arms overhead and lifting up the opposite leg now, keeping the pelvis level to the floor. Good, squeezing the belly, squeezing the pelvic floor, lengthen the spine, the hips. Reach out through the sole of the foot. Oh, nearly losing my balance. Reaching. Breathing. Good, and then release. And then as you exhale, Tadasana. Great, and then we're going to take a rest into Uttanasana. So have your feet hip width. You can rest down using your hands on the chair if you like. And as you exhale, bend your knees. Sweep the chest forward. You're going to just hang down and let the spine lengthen for a moment. Okay, you can have straight legs if they're warmed up. You can have them a little bit bent. Okay, let's try this. Bend your legs. Put your hands up onto your knees or your thighs and arch your spine up to the ceiling or to the wall behind you and squeeze your belly to your spine. Good, and then arch your spine forward, letting the front torso lengthen, draw the shoulder blades back, look forward. Good, and then opposite movement, arch your spine to the wall behind, squeeze your belly, squeeze the pelvic floor. Good, and then forward. And we're going to hold this position where the belly is long and the chest is lifting. And then we're going to come back into our forward bend. So reach the belly forward. If you don't reach the floor, you can use a chair, use your blocks. So that you can feel your lower back arch. If it's not at least dipping in, it feels flatter. So don't go all the way to the floor if suddenly it makes that rainbow shape again. So support your hands onto something because we want to try and get the lower back arch reaching forward. Good. And you can keep folding or just keep relaxing, looking for a more even rhythm of the breath. Letting go of what you don't need, what is unnecessary. Tension that is unnecessary. Finding ease. Good. And then bend your knees and inhale and come all the way up. Go. Good. And as you exhale, Tadasana. Good. And we're going to use a chair for Ardha Chandrasana, unless you don't need to use one, but I'm going to, so you can follow along. All right. We want to get a good distance, and you're looking for a chair that's not going to slide away from you, so up against a wall. I'm getting a nice big stretch through my arms, shoulders, chest. Feet are together. Okay. Now you're going to put your right hand into the center of the chair so it lines up with your right foot. And bring your left hand onto your sacrum. And we're going to lift the left leg off the floor. And at the same time, turn the front of the pelvis to the left side of your mat. And you're going to keep lifting your left leg. Okay, so if your balance is really wobbly, you don't have to lift up very high. Just concentrating. Good. Lift the pelvic floor. Squeeze the front core to support the back core. If you have your balance, take your left arm straight up. Good. You might be able to lift your heart towards the ceiling, even look up at your left fingertips. Reaching. Good. And then come down nice and slow, just the way you came up. Under control. Good. Both hands back onto the chair. Give yourself a big stretch. You deserve it. Okay, and then we're going to take the right hand onto the chair. Left hand onto the chair. So the left hand lines up with the left leg. Good. You can take your right hand onto your sacrum. Start to lift your right foot off the floor. And we're going to lift up and hold the balance. So you just go to where you can hold your balance. You might be turning the front of the pelvis perpendicular to the floor to see how your hips feel with that movement. Press out through the sole of the foot. You lift the leg as high as your body allows. You might be able to lift up your right arm, lift the heart, looking up, reaching any amount. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Feel the front core and the back core working to lengthen the spine. That power center of the body reaching through the limbs. Beautiful. Come down nice and slow, under control, with grace and ease. Both feet back onto the floor. Stretch your hips back, lift your kneecaps, lift your quadriceps, your sit bones. Neck is lengthening, throat is relaxed. Good, and then bend your knees, walking to the front of the mat. We don't need the chair anymore. Come up into Tadasana. Feet under the hips, so they're hip width. Legs are parallel. Lift the front of the legs. Lift the front of the belly. Lift the breastbone. Lift the top of the head. Draw the shoulder blades down. Tailbone down. Heels down. Feel yourself grounded. Tuning into that powerful center of your body. The core of the body. Front core, back core working to lengthen your spine, make you a little taller. Feel the spaciousness of the breath. Good. And we're going to lay down again and think about how you're going to do that. I'm going to try and do that without using my hands. So keep it easeful, or sit down in a way that feels easeful and sensible for you. So here we are again, laying down, my favorite. Your legs are bent, parallel, feet parallel. Give the weight of your body to the floor. Aware of the shape of your lower back, the spaciousness of your front core, your belly. Bring the feet together, knees together. Good. You're going to keep that lower back lifting and press the front core and bring your hands behind your head. Just lift your upper body off the floor. Okay, so lower back still lifting, belly's pressing to the lower back. When you lifted your head up, did your arms, the power in your arms, squash your neck or your throat? Lean your head back into your hands. Good. So you're really relaxed in your throat and your face, but strongly working your core. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Good. And then lay down again. Good. You can do that again. You're going to lift up as high as you can. Your lower back's going to want to curve down into the floor, but you want to lift, squeeze your belly, squeeze the pelvic floor. Rest your head. Keep breathing. Good, and then release. Now that's light work for your core, but that might be strong for you. So maybe you're going to stay working there, keep your throat relaxed. If you want to go a little bit stronger, you're going to take your feet off the floor and start drop the knees away from you a little. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lift up, but really try and rest your head back into your hands so your face and throat are relaxed. Lifting your lower back a little and squeezing strongly your belly and your pelvic floor. The further you drop your knees away, the stronger it is to hold. But don't strain your neck. Don't strain your throat. Keep breathing. Good, and just drop your feet down to the floor and relax for a moment. You'll feel warm. Hopefully that warmth is isolated into the core, but if you feel tension somewhere else in your body, let it go. Okay, so we're going to try and keep that awareness of just really isolating the work into the front core and not using the throat. And I'm going to lift the legs off the floor. If it's too strong, go back to one of the two that you were just able to manage. Okay, so we're going to keep the arms out here. We're going to lift the pelvis, take it to the left. Good, and then take your knees towards the floor on the right and you turn to look back over your left shoulder. Good, you can dorsiflex your toes here. Good, squeeze the core, squeeze the pelvic floor to lift the hips. Swing them to the right and then knees are going to go to the floor on the left. Try to keep your right shoulder blade down onto the floor. So remember, we're keeping everything else nice and relaxed. Squeeze the core to lift the legs, lift the hips. Good. And some people with very strong core, you might be able to do the same thing with your legs straight. Maybe you don't go all the way down onto the floor, so you take notice of where you're able to keep your upper body relaxed, but really, really squeeze the back core and the front core. Good, so you're just working where your body needs to work. Good, and then back to center and hug your knees in. Rocking a little from side to side. Good, we're going to take the legs straight up to the ceiling. Take the hands behind your head again. Good, and we're going to lift the feet and lift the elbows up, but keep your head resting back into your hands. So don't squeeze your neck, your chest, but really squeeze the belly, squeeze the pelvic floor, lifting up. Good, and then bend your legs a little bit and lay back down onto the floor to relax. So inhale here, and then exhale. Straighten your legs, lift your feet, lift your elbows, squeeze your belly, squeeze the pelvic floor. And then inhale. Nice relax. And then as you exhale, lift your feet, lift your elbows, but don't squash your neck or your throat, but really squeeze the core and the pelvic floor. Good, and then relax, inhale. 2 more. Nice work. Release your feet down to the floor. Legs are bent, parallel, feet are hip width. And again, we let the weight of the body be thoroughly supported. No need to hold tension. And feel that work that your back, your belly have just done. The warmth that's left in your body from there. That powerful center. And finishing with a gentle twist, just bring the feet together, knees together. We're going to let the knees fall towards the floor on the right. If they don't reach all the way, you might like to put a support underneath your legs. Keep your left shoulder blade onto the floor, turning in that direction. You can modify this posture for a way that suits you. You can take your knees up higher. You could try to take your feet off the floor if you still want more work for the belly, or just be very passive here. Good, and then coming back up to center and matching the second side, whatever you did on the first side. Good, and then coming back up to center. Going to finish off with happy baby pose. So reach on the inside of the legs and hold your feet. The closer you bring your knees to the floor, the nicer the stretch will be for your hips. And we try and get the soles of the feet parallel to the ceiling. Neck is long. Feel the breath deeply into the belly. Just play around with lifting your lower back off the floor and then letting it relax into the floor. Good, and then you could either finish in Savasana or legs up the wall. There's a video for Savasana if you'd like to add that on. Legs up the wall, I'm just going to do that without support under my hips on this wall, but you could put a bolster or a blanket under your hips if you like. Okay, and legs up the wall, you have to get in as close to the wall as you can. And I lay down first, so my shoulder and head is on the floor, and both sitting bones are against the wall, so I'm a right angle. And then when I flip, so if this feels too tight in your back or your legs, you can be a little further back from the wall. And don't do this if you have high blood pressure and you haven't been to see your doctor. So whenever you take your legs over your heart, that can raise your blood pressure. And stay here for as long as you like, maybe 5-10 minutes. To come out of legs up the wall, bend your legs in and roll to your right side. And support yourself to come into a comfortable seated position. Finding the length of your spine. Space around your heart. The support of that powerful core, front core, back core, lengthening your spine. Head floating at the top of the spine. And find your breath. Each breath. And take the feeling of your practice with you. Namaste.